Imagine that you wake up from a coma and you find out you're pregnant. Not only are you pregnant, you have no idea who your baby father is. That's exactly what happened to Naima. She unfortunately was in a horrific car crash that caused her to lose about 24 to 72 hours of her memory before the wreck. And there's nothing that she can do about it. So she does what she has to do. She picks herself up and she becomes the best mom she possibly can. And so Naima has big goals and she is determined to do whatever she needs to do to accomplish those goals. So what does she do? She moves herself and her daughter, Zuri, to New York City. You see, Naima, she's a chef and she's going to work in research and development at a food company to help them create recipes for their food box. So Naima reports on her first day. She's being shown around, she's getting herself comfortable, and then she's finally in her department and she looks up and she sees this group of people. And the person who's showing her around is like, yeah, those are the bigwigs, you know. And she looks up and she looks right in the face of a man. Now, this man, he puts you in mind of James Bond. Think young Sean Connery. And she looks at him and she looks at his eyes and she's like, why? Because he has the exact same identical eyes as her daughter. They are green, with one eye being half green and half hazel. Now, she's never seen this before, and she's like, do I know you? Or at least she's thinking that in her head. But she doesn't make a big deal about it because, to be honest, she does not remember the time before the crash, so she doesn't want to embarrass herself on her first day at her new job. Now, the group of people walk over, and Mr. James Bond himself looks right at her. And it's basically like, you remember me, right? Or at least he's thinking in his head, like, you remember me, right? And of course, Naima has no idea who is this man. But because she doesn't respond well to him, he gets kind of grumpy. But she just brushes it off like, oh, okay, whatever. Now, what Naima doesn't know is that this is not just any regular man. Like, yeah, it seems like he's just down in research and development because he works with the team. But the reality is, he's actually the heir to the company. Yeah, he's a billionaire. So what happens? He hightails it up out of there and he goes back to his office and he does what any normal billionaire would do. He asks his personal private PI to do some research upon you. But he's also mad. So he actually goes back downstairs and you're not there at the moment. And he looks at your workstation and he sees a baby girl who looks just like him. Same eyes and everything. And he's thinking in his head, like, I know she did not hide my child from me. Like, what type of games is she playing? Is she here from the competition? Like, what's up? What's going on? But she genuinely does not know who he is. So his personal PI does her job and she confirms with him that, yes, this woman actually had a car accident 5 years ago. She had amnesia, concussion, all the information that PIs are able to get on people. And he's like, oh, she really doesn't remember me. She doesn't know who I am. And he does his best impression of Jay-Z and is like, allow me to reintroduce myself. And so this story actually follows the love story between Naima and Alexander. So if you like instant love, second chances, interracial romances, and of course, billionaire romances, I think that you'll like this book as well.